Hello everyone, Ellen Woodbridge here, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. Welcome to card 1 of my Layers of Beauty class. Thank you again so much for purchasing this class, and I do hope you enjoy this project number 1. So these are the card, or this is the card that we're making. I've got 2 versions of already. We are using the Layers of Beauty stamp set, taking the sentiment from Simply Said. Pop those off to the side for the moment. We are using the Layers of Beauty decorative masks. Now they do come in the bundle with the dies, but we're not using the dies. We are using the mask to create this multifaceted, multicolored image. So the colors we are going to use, we're going to use Basic Grey for our outline, Melamambo, Pretty in Pink, and Bubble Bath for our flowers, Soft Sea Foam for our leaves, so I'm only using 1 ink, and then from the original to the second one I did, I am adding a little bit of Lemon Lolly for the flower centers. So let's get to it. I don't need my ink pads quite yet, nor do I need my masks. So I will explain one thing first. Being heavy-handed as to being soft-handed. I probably used a medium hand to do my original card, and when I did my second card, I definitely used a lighter hand. So you can see, using exactly the same colors, the color variation that I got. Who knows whether I'll be medium-handed or light-handed today? That shall be seen. So I'm just going to leave this card there as a reference. I just do need to grab a scrap of paper. So I already have my line image here, and it is set onto a stamp positioner. I'm just going to put in a scrap piece of paper first, just so I can get this image nice and inky before I take it to the basic white designer basic white paper. Now the dimensions for our 2 pieces of paper are in the project sheet, along with all the products I am going to use. Now I'm thinking that's pretty good. So taking the Basic Grey, giving it a really generous inking. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. It's a handmade card. So I'm going to take this down, just give it a nice press over the whole image here. A little bit more in 2 places that I can see so far. Look, I'm pretty happy with that. Is it perfect? No, but I think it looks beautiful. Okay, happy with that. So I'm going to pop a stamp positioner once I move the magnet off to the side. I will clean that with my stamp chamois later. Okay, so this is what I need to do without trying to break my storage over here. I am going to start by taping this down to my work surface. So I am just using a glass mat here. So this piece, and I've already got smudges on it. Wow. I am very, very special. Okay, now I do want to grab my masks, and I'm going to go through them with you, if I can get them sliding out of the packet here. So we get 5 masks. So our first one is our outline. Then we get subsequent layers, flower centers, all of that from there. And then number 4 and 5 are our leaves. So let's start at the start. Now we do have this notch that once I line this up, I'm upside down. Once I line this up, I can mark my notch. I'm actually not going to, because I'm generally pretty confident without the notch. Now, does this have to be super duper perfect? No. Do I want it to be fairly close? Yep. Okay, I'm happy with that. And I'm happy with this. Okay, so tape it top and bottom. What I'm also going to grab is some post-it notes, okay? Because I have some spare paper that I know I get very enthusiastic with. I get enthusiastic with my blending brushes, so I'm just going to reuse these the whole time. If you know you get enthusiastic with blending brushes, this is just how I can protect my card base. This design came out the way it did because I did get ink on these 2 corner pieces. So just so you know some history. So we are going to be starting with Bubble Bath, and I'm going to grab a normal, as in our larger size, blending brush. Now, I don't know what colour pink I used on this last time, so I'm just going to grab my paper towel and just go over it. And this basically has no ink on it, so we are all safe. Open our ink pad and throw it to the side apparently. And what I just want to do, I still have my basic grey ink pad open, which is a titch dangerous. So that is all closed. Scissors are away. Okay. So, some nice pouncing here, and I'm going to lay this base layer down. Now, don't forget to go in multi-directions with this. I'm thinking this needs some re-inking because I have run this as a class, so a number of people have been sucking ink out of my ink pad. Okay, now all these open areas are pink. Very happy with that. Close my ink pad. Now, even though my next layer, I am going in with a different pink, I'm actually not going to change my brush because the next pink, or clean my brush for that matter, because the next pink is going to be darker. Still in the light pink family, so this is going to be Pretty in Pink, which is one of our current in colours. I do have a little bit of deconstructing to do here, but I will prefer to do a little bit of deconstructing rather than having ink all over my card front. So you can see that beautiful blend there. Now we are going to go in with number 2. Now I know this mark goes at the bottom, so you can see here I've got circles for the insides of the flowers, so I can use those as a mark if I can pick up this piece of washi tape. I may need to get more washi tape, but I'm hoping we can wrangle our way through these pieces. So I just want to line up these two flower centers, and then we should be golden. Okay, and I do have a titch of wiggle room, which I exercised. Pop our bottom one on, and then just reattach all of our post-its. So one here, one in this corner here, and then just one at the bottom. So Pretty in Pink to me is pretty much a perfect pink. I do love it quite a lot. And we are going to go in with that. So keeping our flowers very monochromatic here. So blending off. So I can pick up that ink that's left on the mask. And going in here. Just using the ink that's left on the mask and left on the brush to fill in these areas. I am very, very happy with that. So this is a great thing that you can have 3 or 4 or even more panels set up. So all you have to do is lift and move the panels. So 1, 2, 3, and just use my scissors to carefully lift this up. Now, the best way to clean these masks is to use some rubbing alcohol. So you can see how we've got our layers here. I've probably gone very heavy-handed on this one, but hey, that's okay. So here we can line up our flower centers. So we're going to do some two-tone coloring here because I do want to use the lemon lolly on my flower centers. Let me just pop this down here and pop. This one is the one that wants to curl. I just want to have them on the mask, so then when I get these flower centers lined up, perfect, I can then just press them down. Okay, bring back in our post-its just for that extra protection. So I think I'm going to use my lemon lolly first, and we are going to graduate from our large blending brush to our minis, and this gives us a little bit more control of where exactly our color is going, because I don't want the yellow in with the flower. So I can push this in, rub this in, I can do both. And what I'm also going to do, because that is that one done, I'm just going to grab my my cloth here and just remove excess ink. So then this ink doesn't go in with our pink blending brush, nor does it go in with the flowers that we've got. Now, this next color is an extremely bold choice, if I can grab it. Extremely bold choice, but I wanted to keep all of our pinks, clean, clear, cool pinks, and that is what we get with Mellow Mambo. So I do have a small blending brush here, and we are going to be light-handed. She says her famous last words here. Got a hair in the way here. Okay. Give this a really good pounce off. And make sure that you're not going over those flower centers. Really, if you did go over the flower centers, it would only change them to orange. So we're not doing anything too badly. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a little peek. I think I might like to go a titch more heavy-handed. Just a little bit, but I'm better to check than to go super heavy to start with. So it's all about building layers. So I really haven't added a whole lot here, but I will close this because pinks can be a titch dangerous. Okay. Like I smudged before with my basic grey. Now, perfect. So even though I said I was heavy-handed, these will dry back as well. So I'm actually really happy with all the flowers, the flower centers, perfect. So that is our flowers done. And now we are going to come in with our leaves. So our flowers are going to be perfectly protected here. Just grabbing off my washi tape, which amazing that we can reuse it. Just going to pop these on, so then as before, when I'm in the right spot, I can just drop these down. Oh, that one is already wanting to stick down, but we are not in the right place. Not quite. Okay, so I'm looking at these side flowers here, and I'm looking at the tendrils as well. I think we are pretty right there. Besides the fact my washi tape wants to do the wrong thing. I'm very happy with that. Adding our bits once again. So the hardest part with this card is all of the changing masks. Other than that, I've kept the card very simple. Okay, perfect. So we have our soft sea foam, and just by using the same color twice, we are automatically going to get some beautiful contrast. I have gone with my big one here, and I'm kind of just adding a little bit everywhere, and then just building up that color as I see it. Okay, this is all fairly light at this stage, so I'll add a little bit more there. Keep that down. Getting closer and closer to flicking up those edges. Okay, so going in both directions to get all the ink off. Okay, I'm happy with that. Not closing this ink pad, but changing over our mask. Okay, so you can see here we do actually have quite a nice coverage, and I'm going to bring in our final mask here. roughly there. Yep, that looks pretty good. And of course, it's very much twisting, but it still has a whole lot of stick, which I'm actually pretty happy with. So I love it when our tools have multi-use, and this old roll of washi is definitely getting a bit of a workout recently with these masks. Okay, so let's line this up. Just taking a little bit extra care, trying. Okay, I think we're good. Both sides here. Right, for one last time, add our post-its. And then for this one, we can go as light or as dark as we want, but because we're adding ink on ink, and it's the same ink on ink, we will be adding that contrast of a second layer of colour. But I do also need to remember that these inks will all dry back. So even though they may be looking a little or a lot bit darker, you will never get the same result twice, just because of how much ink goes onto the brush, how much pressure we're using with the brush. There are just so many variables that are just minute variables, but they are all still there. Okay, so we are done. Okay, so I'm going to need next, I'm just going to have it here ready to go. I'm going to need my Pretty in Pink. Okay, they can go in recycling. Now I'm going to be careful and taking this up, and this can all definitely go in the bin. So you can see the contrast there, which I am actually really happy with. Now, the question is, do I cut my edges or do I just leave it? So I am going to have a bit of a play with this thanks sentiment for a second. I just want to use a little bit of hand sanitizer here, because I feel like I have picked up ink off the masks, and I definitely do not want to transfer that. I'll transfer it onto the paper. No problems. Whoops. What I will do, I will get this piece of paper up. I will just rub off this excess rubbing alcohol. There we go. What rubbing alcohol are we? Oh, not the, sorry. Hand sanitizer, not rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol I will use to fix my mask. So I might show you on one of my masks. Just be very careful taking this washi tape off, because we do not want to get that dirty. So I'm going to bring in this, and I'm going to bring in, this is my rubbing alcohol, isocol alcohol, all works. So these cards can go face down, and all I use is, well, not even one spray. I just take my cloth, give it a rub. That gets off the ink. I just rub my surface rub the back side as well, and that is our mask clean and ready to go for the next colour or even a colour change. So that's how simple that is. So that's just one of your tips for this card. Now, if I was smart, I put these stamp sets right here. Okay, so I thought using this thanks would look really, really cute. I am actually quite tempted just to pop this thanks here, because although I could cut these corners, because I do have a little bit of smoosh there that I don't necessarily want, and I may just do it slightly differently, because you know, we've just got to go with the flow, guys. Okay, now I'm going to do a test stamping first, because we are going directly onto the card. So let me just go in here. I am quite happy with that. So everyone pray, everything crossed, please, that I get our beautiful thanks. Just like that. I'm happy with that. I will add some of our iridescent pearls around it. For the moment, I'm finished with all my inking. I am going to crop off these two corners. Okay, so just something a little bit different. Okay, so cropping off that corner and cropping off this corner, which includes a little bit of that leaf, but I'm happy with it. So I've just cropped those two corners. Just let me pop that rubbish away. Don't need this. Oh, so sorry about that screeching on my glass mat. I have a smoky slate card base. I thought just to go a titch lighter than basic grey would work really, really well. Give that a beautiful burnish. And then this should, all intensive purposes, go on really nicely. Very happy with that. So I'll bring this one in. This one doesn't have the yellow centres though. That's my only point of difference between the two cards. You always learn after your first card, don't you? Always, always. Okay. So take our piece. Good, the glue is working. Wonderful. Always, when you haven't used it for a day, you're praying that the glue will work. Okay. Just lay it down approximately where I would like it. That works quite nicely. I will just pick it up to get that nicely. That's as even as we're going to get it. Now, iridescent basic pearls. These are the ones that have some multicolour iridescence to them. They're really, really quite beautiful. I like that they are going to pick up the pink that we already have in this card. This blade is not going to be helpful. Very carefully put that back on. And I am going to just use my hook of my Take Your Pick tool. I'm just going to do this. Probably going to use a few more than I normally would, because we have quite a bit of space around here. I know I use 5. I use 1 each on the end here. I think I'll only use 2 down here. I'm not convinced on that placement. What I think I might like to do, I didn't press these down too hard, I don't think. Do you know what? I don't think I can get this one up. Okay, that one's going to stay there. This one is going to go up here. And then this one, like that, kind of maybe here. I think that'll do. Embellishment placement is totally subjective. So you can see, because I had the sentiment down here, I changed it up a little bit. The sentiment's up here for this one, so I changed it up. So let's go over what we have used, because we have a finished project. I think I went a lot heavy-handed. I do wish the Mellow Mambo was a little bit lighter on this, but you kind of have 3 different ways. So I've shown you 3 different ways with all the same supplies. We've got very light-handed, medium-handed, and maybe a little more heavy-handed. But that's okay. Still a beautiful card, and definitely a card I would give someone. So I have used 2 of the products from the Layers of Beauty bundle. I have used the stamp set, and we have used all 5 of the decorative masks. I have added in the Simply Said stamp set for our sentiment, and I used our blending brushes in both mini and large. And the inks we have used, I will tell you because I've got an ink pad open. I used Bubble Bath, Pretty in Pink, Mellow Mambo. We used Soft Sea Foam, Lemon Lolly for our flower centers, and I use Basic Grey to stamp our image. So thank you so much for joining me and letting me show you step by step how this card came together. I look forward to seeing you in my next 2 exclusive card videos. Thanks again. Bye.